shot, working, multitasking from home today. Glad to have you, Tiffany. Good morning to you. Cruther writes, watching an interview with Cruz, this clown face couldn't even remember what city the incident happened in. Somebody had to tell him Orlando. Yeah, Texas does it big, all right. Big dummies. That's why Ted Cruz should never have been running for president. That was a waste of time. But you know the story behind Ted Cruz? I mean, Ted Cruz got in on a wing and a prayer, really, with really no political experience before that, and took out an establishment Republican down in Texas under some really, suspicious circumstances. Again, without getting all into the details, I'll give you that much. Okay. Do you feel safe here in Ohio? Because, see, here's the other thing. I don't know. You're afraid of gangbangers? You got people getting shot in Roseline or the Bond Hill area because of mistaken identity. Two thugs. I'm going to call them what they are. Two thugs. These two thugs that killed this young woman, this sweet child who had did nothing wrong. She was totally innocent. And you had these two young black thugs from the city driving around looking for some enemies. Look in the mirror, bro. That's what's so ironic about it. You had these two thugs running around the streets, they're driving around the streets of Cincinnati, looking for their so-called enemies, and they were their own worst enemies. Oh, my God. So you got these thugs driving around the streets of Cincinnati. You don't know if you're going to get caught in a crossfire. And then on the other hand, you got these psycho sickos out here that want to kill a lot of people and then die. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe you can help me. What is it? Is it the music? You can't blame hip hop for all of it. You cannot blame hip hop. Is it mommy and daddy issues? Is it just some people are just born that way, Nate? Carolyn, I'm going to check that out. I want to read that story you brought to my attention, and I appreciate you for that. Ed writes, figured out why I'm having ant problems. They don't want Nate to have a bigger pool than Kanye, LOL. Nate, have you talked about Clarence Thomas's retirement? No, I have not yet. I came across the article a couple days ago. Yes, Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas looks like he's giving some indications that he's going to retire. And I don't know what exactly that means. Now, he's going to wait until – he's not going to let Obama – he's not going to let Obama he's not going to leave that up to Obama. And the reason why I didn't talk about it is because, I wasn't really sure. You read these news stories, and sometimes they seem like they're credible, and then I look at the links and I look at the origin of where they came from, and I'm like, I don't know how credible that is. Because this morning it's being reported that the wife of Clarence Thomas is saying, nah, he's not retiring. Retire and do what? Well, what's Clarence Thomas going to do then? I'm sure he likes being the big man on campus, right? He likes being that African-American voice. He likes being in that position because it makes him valuable. The Republican establishment, the media, Republican media, they love Clarence Thomas. Love him. And then his wife has got a really prominent position, within, I'm not even sure this group is still around, but within, some of these Tea Party groups and things like that. She's very well associated with that. So I'm sure having a husband who is a Supreme Court justice, she can get some mileage out of that. So that's where it is now. I'm not really sure if the story is true or not. That's why I didn't really bring it up, but I did come across it. And again, already this morning is being refuted. Charles Wright, you could have put it better, Nate. Look in the mirror. We can't get out of our own way a lot of times. Right. Run around the streets of Cincinnati. Tell me they were hunting someone. At least that's what was reported in local news. They were hunting someone. You should have been hunting a job. You should have been hunting a volunteer position, hunting and trying to figure out what college you're going to attend. But instead, you're hunting somebody. Oh, and you found her. And she had nothing to do with it. She was completely innocent, and you robbed her, took her from her family. And now these two individuals are going to jail for a long time. And for what? For what? Absolutely nothing. That's what. Absolutely nothing. This young girl gone. And then the families of these two thugs, call them what they are. You act like a thug, you get called a thug. In this context, I think it's completely appropriate to put it that way in this context. Thugs. I mean, I never drove around the streets of Cincinnati thinking about hunting someone with a weapon in the car. And then, not only do you have a weapon in the car, but you're so loose and out there, probably high, a mixture of probably different drugs, and alcohol too. I don't remember reading about that in the articles. About when these two individuals were apprehended. Remember, this happened right out there near Christopher Smitherman's property in the Bond Hill area, because I read that he was overjoyed to help, with the manhunt for these individuals. Driving around the streets of Cincinnati hunting someone. And then these two thugs are so much on the edge that they kill someone and it's mistaken identity. So on top of everything else, you can't even get the right person. Like I said, if you in the game and you get caught up in the game and that's your time, that's your time. Just don't kill me and mine in the crossfire because you don't know how to, you're a bad shot or whatever the deal might be. Very, very sad. R.I.P. to the family. R.I.P. to the family. And that's the kind of young man you do not want to raise. You don't want to raise that nonsense. And so now you're the parents of the young man that killed an innocent little girl. Thanks, son. Thanks. Appreciate it. After all of this is the thanks I get? This is crazy. Okay. Yes. I'm going to check that out. In OTR Alley, a confrontation over historic bricks. Oh, my gosh. I'm sure that's great. I'm going to definitely check that out. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. That looks good. Blaze writes, I believe a deterrent should be any minor caught with a firearm. The parents and house of record should lose all future gun privileges indefinitely. Then parents would actually parent and check their child rooms and other places they know of. All right, Blaze, jumping in with the flow. So if your kid is a minor and they get caught with a firearm, which I believe it's got to be illegal off the top, you're saying that the parents, like both parents? So like if my son grows up and he decides against my wishes and everything else I've taught him and showed him that he's going to go get an illegal firearm. Let's say he gets it from one of his buddies in the streets, or he finds it somewhere at a park, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. And I don't know anything about it. He gets caught with it. I should lose my gun privileges because of him? I don't know about that one, Blaze. And you're saying indefinitely? Like forever? That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. You're going to take away my constitutional right to have a firearm. And that's not going to stop me anyway, because you got a lot of folks out there who are not supposed to have firearms, and they got firearms because they're living that life. They're in that neighborhood. It's who they are. They understand the world the way the world is. They don't want to go out like that, rather to be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6. I mean, that's how everybody lives, right? Each and every one of us, whether you're violent or not violent, or you got a weapon or you don't have a weapon, right? That's the code that we all live by. And I can't have a weapon now because just Junior did something crazy? I don't know about that one, Blaze. I mean, I'm all about responsibility and parents being responsible and, all the other stuff. I'm all for that. But I don't know if a person should lose their gun privileges indefinitely. Maybe it's for a short time. But indefinitely, that's too much for me. That's too much for me. I'm reading that Hillary Clinton is going to be in Columbus today. That's right. And many of you will be voting for her because you feel as if you've got to, because if you don't, then Donald Trump is going to win. And, with Donald Trump being on the ticket, you got a lot of Democrats that might have thought about third-party candidates. You might have thought about a Green Party candidate. You might have thought about the Libertarian candidate. Libertarians are fiscally conservative, but then when it comes to the individual over the government, they side with the individual. Traditional conservatives, they side with the tyranny of the government, as if that's somehow better for the individual. I don't get it. I know it doesn't make sense. I know I don't get it. I don't get it either. It's the world that we live in. Good morning. Currently 8 a.m. in the Queen City. Nathan Ivey with you. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. And we get together Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. to talk about everything. People, politics, pleasure. For many years, I hosted a radio program in the city of Cincinnati. First in public radio, and then made the transition into commercial radio. And rocked the mic for about 10 years. The king of straight talk. Had a ball. And now we're online doing our own thing with the good folks at Superlative Media. And very privileged and honored to be able to speak with you every single morning. Again, tell one person about the show. That's it. Just one person. Just tell one person about the show. So we can grow this platform, and I really appreciate it. Back to your chat. Crystal writes, is it really illegal in Ohio for a teen to have a gun? What is the law? Does it apply only to some types of guns? Craig writes, right, Nate, thugs, F them. Bad breeding across the board. I bet these two delinquents have children. Wonder how they will contribute to society. Bad breeding, and 25, 30 years from now, these kids are supposed to be holding down the black community. If that's the case, we're done. This is why they're buying up weapons by the caseload. All this voluntary slavery we're involved in one day. It will be perfectly legal for a citizen to kill us because they fear for their life. Shaking my head. Pat writes, hit the like button, y'all. Thank you, Pat. Craig, that was a great flow, man. Great flow. I agree with you. Now, you're saying bad breeding. That cuts a little deep. That you talking about mamas and stuff like that. I mean, I get what you're saying. I would say breeding, maybe bad rearing, like bad parenting. I mean, come on. If your child's driving around. So, listen, there's got to be a difference in the parenting. Because why don't you have other children out there, other 10, 19-year-olds or whatever, 15-year-olds out there driving around gangbanging and looking for victims and shooting people? I think the difference is the parents. I think the difference is a parent. Dare writes, I'm a listener who goes back to when the Lupe Fiasco Push song was your opening intro song. Wow, D. Woo, man, that goes way back, way before the buzz. Way before Straight Talk, way before any of that. Man, Daryl, listen, I appreciate you, bro. I really do, man. Thanks for rolling with me. And we'll see what the future has in store. I mean, this platform has been growing steadily. I mean, we're over 1,700 followers on the Spreaker network alone. And I am getting good traffic on the Nathan Ivey website. And I like the capabilities that we have to get together every morning via Spreaker. And, there's a lot of things to look forward to. And most of that is because the first sponsor will be talking about the details within the next couple of weeks as they kick things off here on the show. And really just looking forward to, making connections with other folks who understand the value in a platform such as this. And, potentially, seeing if there's any talent within the city of Cincinnati so other folks may get a chance to maybe benefit from what we're starting here. So numerous plans in the work, and I really appreciate you. Just tell one person about the show. That's it. Just one person about the show, whether maybe you're sharing some content that I put up on our website or on Facebook, or you're just saying, sending a like or sharing or reposting on Twitter or something like that. I really appreciate you. I put it like that. Jerica writes, good morning, family. Good morning, Jerica. Glad to have you. Craig, I'm kind of getting a sense that you got a problem with this. There's another thing you said. You said this voluntary slavery. Yeah, I like the way you put that. You're right. Voluntary slavery. These two young men who I'm talking about, and again, I don't have their names in front of me, but there was a case going back a few months ago of a young woman. It's about 10 p.m., and she's driving with her friend, and somebody shoots up the car. The friend was shot, I believe, in the leg and made it. The friend was shot in the leg and made it, and this young girl basically died. And there was a manhunt throughout the city of Cincinnati because people wanted the trigger persons, the persons